Hello, my name's Michelle Grosvenor and I'm the Clinical Director and Principal Psychologist at the Associated Psychology Practice in Penrith. And today I'd like to share a few strategies with you for helping your children to respond to bullying. Bullying's an issue that's pretty close to my heart because growing up, my younger sister was bullied quite mercilessly throughout primary and high school, and that really had an impact on her well-being. And unfortunately, as was often the advice that was given at the time she and I were growing up, she was told to ignore it, and ignoring it rarely works. Most of us would not ignore workplace bullying. So if someone who was older than us or someone who had more power than us over decision making was behaving in a way that was hurting us. So say for example, they would come up behind you while you were making a coffee and deliberately knock into you, not in a joking way, but in a kind of barging past you way, and did it day after day. Or if someone was repeatedly calling you names or spreading rumours about you or destroying your work, most of us would not ignore that kind of behaviour, but yet so often children in the past were told to ignore being hit, kicked, having their lunch stolen, having their bags damaged, being told that they were worthless, or being teased about their appearance again and again. And so rather than telling children just to ignore it, I think it's helpful if we as adults can have some strategies that we can use to help them to cope with bullying, because bullying can lead to an increased risk of depression and suicide. So it can be a really serious issue. So my first tip would be to talk to your children ahead of time. So don't wait till they're being bullied or till you find out about it, to have casual conversations if you're watching a movie, or if you're in the car and a topic comes up about how we treat other people, to maybe ask them, what would you do if someone bullied you or one of your friends or someone else in the playground? Encouraging children to think ahead about how they'd respond to a situation and to generate ideas for that actually helps to prepare them in case this does happen. And this is really important because if children have got a plan, they're more likely to be able to respond assertively to bullying. So rather than ignoring it, it's also good to teach children to be able to look the person who's bullying them or bullying someone else in the eye, to stand tall and to say stop it in a clear, firm voice. What they've found is that when a child or young person responds assertively to bullying, it's less likely to keep happening. Whereas if a child becomes very upset or angry, or a child doesn't respond at all, sometimes bullies will intensify the behaviour over time. And it can be helpful to role play that with children, because even as an adult, being assertive can be difficult. So to get them to practice it at home, doing role plays where perhaps you start out being the child who's responding to a bully, and you can show them some ways that they could respond that are clear and firm but are not aggressive. The other thing that can be really helpful in terms of helping your children to cope with bullying is to them know that it's important to talk to an adult, or be it a parent or a teacher, if they're being bullied. So sometimes children are really worried about being seen as a dobber, and so it helps them to be able to differentiate between dobbing and reporting. So my brother, who's a teacher, gave me a really helpful way of understanding this. That dobbing is where you tell an adult or somebody in charge about what someone's doing because you want that person to get in trouble essentially. So say during crunch and sip and you're only supposed to have fruit and water, you see someone else in your classroom who's having Oreos, and you immediately put your hand up to tell the teacher. Now that would be an example of dobbing, because while they're breaking a rule, they're not really doing anything that hurts somebody else. Whereas reporting is when you let someone know about something that another person is doing that emotionally or physically harms you or somebody else. And so helping children to understand that difference can give them the confidence to approach a teacher or to talk to you about it when they get home from school, to let you know if someone is bullying them. And if a child or young person does come to you and say that they're being bullied, it's really important to stay calm about it, because if you appear angry or overwhelmed or upset, they might shut down and not share this with you again. So it can be helpful to say something along the lines of, that sounds like that was really hard. How did you feel when that happened? Yeah, I would have been upset about that too. How about we talk about some ways that you can cope if that happens again? Because that way you're giving the child or young person empathy, but you're also then leading it to a problem-solving process. So if you are interested in reading more about ideas for helping children or young people respond to bullying, I've written an article on this subject which was recently published on mysafespot.com, and I'm going to post a link to the article, which is also on our website, so that you can read it. And if you think that your child or young person could benefit from professional support to help them to learn to be assertive or to cope with the effects of bullying, in addition to myself, there's also Belinda Grugan at our practice who sees primary school age children in particular, and Jessica Stanford, who can help with high school age children who are experiencing bullying and who need to learn these skills to help them to be able to stand up, to have a voice, and to be able to deal with these situations as confidently as they can. So thanks for listening today, and if you found this this video blog helpful, it'd be great if you could leave a comment in the comments section, because that way we know what type of information people are interested in finding out about, and it helps us to decide what the next video log might be on. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope the rest of your day goes well.